Welcome back to part 2 of working on this old rust bucket, also known as Lockjaw. Let's see what we can get fixed this week. Well, we left off last week with working on the electrical. It's not done, but I'm done with it for now. I was getting aggravated. I had to take a break on it. As you can see, the steering wheel is still gone. We got to figure out what's going on with the turn signals, backup lights. And here's something that's odd. Both of those, the turn signals and backup lights, are on the same circuit as far as the fuse goes. I'm getting power back here to the socket. Yes, sir. That middle part is positive, and then this outside part is a negative. Checking from there to there, I'm getting about 9.5 volts. It should burn the bulb dimly, but it should burn it. Well, from that middle part to my ground, I'm getting 12.7 volts. I don't, you'd think, well, maybe something in that socket. Well, come over here. I put my metry on this socket here, getting 12.7 volts right here at the socket. So I don't know what's going on. I know this bulb is good. I've checked it with a meter. I stuck it in another socket up front in the parking light socket. They're different, but it still will burn. I know it burns, so I don't know what's going on with it. I got to take a break from it, but we do have a little more electrical to do. I think what we're going to work on right now, let's work on the gas tank, the fuel system, because this hose running into a gas tank sitting in the seat, well, that's just ain't gonna cut it. I'm sure that gas tank is just rusted all the pieces inside. There's no rust holes in the bottom. I've already looked. But, it's been open for 40 years. I guarantee you there's some rust. I think what we'll do first, let's get the camera. Just stick it down in there and see what it looks like. I tell y'all what, it's only 90 degrees outside today, but the humidity's got to be, I'd say 5,000%, yes. It's unbearable almost. Good gracious, it's hot. Let's see what we got right here. It just goes so far and stops. Oh, I think it twists and turns. Let me look at that real quick. It turns, yes sir, goes straight down. Tell you what we'll do. Let's just go ahead and pull the gas tank out. Because you know it's rusted. You know it's got to be clean. What do we got to do? Let me get this here tank of Linka out. I think we should get this out of my face. Get out of my face. Get out of here. 4 bolts here, 4 bolts here. Oh yeah! I'm gonna close my eyes when I do this because I imagine I'm gonna get covered up in rust. Oh yeah, I'm sure. It did not break off. That's awesome. All right, there's one side. None. Now, I've already got the screws loose on the fill neck out there. How this comes out now, well, I don't really know. Let me do a little investigating. That's how it comes out. You just have to shake it. Well, there it is, and let me tell you, she looks pretty rough. Yeah, we got holes all in it right here, there and there, and there, and holy crap, holy. Yes, sir. I can stick my hand through that one. Yes, sir, this tank is no good. I'm still feeling the effects of building this shop, so can't afford to buy a new one. I'll tell you what we might do. Might go off to the woods, and I don't know if either of them trucks had a tank in it or not. We'll just have to see. I may go over in a little bit and look, but for now, I'll tell you what we ought to do. Well, first, I'll tell you what we'll do. I want to get the trim on the front of this truck, because that just, man, that looks ugly. But before I can do that, this little bezel, whatever, it's got a couple of pieces welded where they broke. So let me fix that, and then we'll get that trim on. And I don't know, we may start on the brakes, or I may just go to the woods. I don't know, we'll just play it by ear. That's normally what I do anyway. All right, here it is right here. You just got these 2 little pieces here. They weld on like that one there. So let me get them in place. Get them tacked back on. And hopefully they will be in the right position and will fit the holes. Let me get that done. Whew, it's so hot in here, I'm about to die. It's so hot in here, I'm about to die. All right, let me see if I can get that tacked on. There's one down. All right, let's get that put on. Y'all see this pile of garbage? Well, it ain't garbage. It's stuff I need, but it shouldn't be laying in the floor. No, sir. I got another pile started over here. I'll be glad when I get everything organized like I want. I think what I've decided to do, this is going to be battery central. Then I'm going to have another cabinet for all power tools, you know, regardless if they're battery operated or not. You know, got 2 grinders there and skill saw. And anyway, I'm going to have another cabinet just for tools. This will be for the batteries. Anyway, now that we have satisfied my ADHD, let's get this ring on this headlight and get that headlight trim on. All right, do these line up where they're supposed to? Let's see. Where are my screws? There's one. I think that hole is stripped out. Yes, sir. These here. Oh yeah, I got 2 anyway. Let me find a little longer screw. Well, I found a longer screw. Let's see if we can make this here work. Oh yeah, that'll work just fine and dandy. Yes, sir. What I'll do now, get this trim on, but I got to put this lens on the other side first. So let us do that. All right, now let me get this headlight stuff on. Well, scratch that idea. I just realized that the little clippers that the screws go through, well, that's the only one on this side, and that's the only one on this side, and it's about to rust in too. So we can't do that. I'll have to go to O'Reilly's or somewhere and get some of them clips. I needed some of them somewhere else. Oh, the tail lights, same way. Yes, I can't put them back on until we get them clips. So we'll have to wait on that. In case you have not figured it out, I'm not prepared for this week. Waiting on parts. I got power steering brackets coming. So when they get here, they're supposed to be here today. And I got an old power steering pump I'm gonna try to use. So when that gets here, we'll work on that. I got body parts for the floor in here coming. They'll probably be here in 3 or 4 days. Wait on parts basically. So I'm just trying to do what I can until we do get some parts in. Whilst we're up here on the front end, let's just go ahead and put this other horn in over here and get it wired up. See what dual horns sound like. I would go to the woods and see about a gas tank, but it's fixing the storm. So as soon as that passes, we may head to the woods and see what we can find. But for now, I'm just trying to do whatever I can until I get parts. Got the horn installed. I got it wired. It just come from that green wire. Was the horn over here. I run it through this loom, just like that right there. There's the wire. She's hooked up. Well, you know, I don't have my steering wheel or horn button, so I got to jump the wire to ground. So I'm gonna put y'all on the camera stand. I'm gonna go in there and go honk honk. Let's see what it sounds like. Dual horns always sound better than just one. That sounded pretty good, yes sir. My power steering brackets, well, they're not here. I was planning on fooling with that today. They're not here. It's getting late in the evening anyway, so I think we'll cut her off right here. I've got to get that out of here, get the Dodge in here, go to working on the gas tank. My S10 out there, I got front tires for it because one of them, well, both of them got steel showing. So, and one of them keeps going flat. I keep having to pump it up every day. So I got to get them tires changed, and then It's out of a line. That's why they're still showing on the inside. Anyway, I got to fool with that. And I got to get my pool pump unhooked from the pool, packaged up to get it ready to go back to Amazon. So my evening is full. Yes, sir. Probably won't get all that done, but I got to get something done. See y'all tomorrow. 'Tis the next day, and I just got back from a tire shop. I tried changing these last night, and these little short sidewalls, no sir, I couldn't get them broke down off the wheel. I didn't want to beat and bang my wheels up, so took them tire shop, got them mounted in balance. I was fixing to put them on here and then head to town and take my pool pump back, because, you know, I got it all boxed back up last night. Well, my handy dandy assistant called, and they are ready to try the F30 out on the old sawmill. Remember me telling you about that last week? Well, they're ready for it. So, fixing to head to Mama's. We're going to jump on the old F30 and head down the road. Maybe 5 miles an hour. It'd take me an hour to get there. Well, I made it here. We're belted up. We've run it a little bit, and we cut a little old. I think it's a 5x7, which ain't real big, but this tractor did just fine with that. I think we don't have any logs right now, but I think we're supposed to be getting some here in about 30 minutes. So as soon as we get the logs, I reckon we'll dry it out. Well, we got us a small log. We're fixing to run through it, see how it does. I'm gonna stay up here just in case I need to kick it out of gear. Mishap, my belt's slipping. We need some kind of belt dressing on it. Anyway, we got it back on. We're gonna give her another try. Flipping the log now, you know, you got to cut all 4 sides to get it square. There's a little bitty old log. That tractor, it's doing pretty decent, but the belt is slipping really, really bad. Sometimes when you really load it, we're going to get some belt dressing. We got us a little bit of sorghum molasses here going to use for belt dressing. got a bunch. That belt ain't slipping now. It'll run on through it a little bit. Well, if anybody ever tells you that an old F30 won't run a sawmill, well, call them a liar, because it will. We got 5, I think, 1x6s basically, and then this is what was left over. It's almost, well, I think it's a little over 2x6. The old thing does pretty good. I'm shocked that old tractor runs as good as it does, but it sure does. They're going to get 2 more logs. We're going to cut them up too. Well, we're back at the shop. As you can see, I still don't have any tires on the little truck. Ain't happening tonight because I'm tired. I spent just about all day at the sawmill there. That thing's pretty neat. The story I got is it came from Nashville. I think maybe a guy in Nashville built it. And then it ended up at a farm just down the road here. Stayed there for several years. And then my handy dandy assistant, they got a hold of it. He's been working on it the last few weeks, trying to get it running, modifying it. And it was pretty neat watching it come to life today. Pretty neat watching the old F30 run it too. I didn't think it was going to, but it did. It did pretty good. Anyway, power steering brackets, they finally come in. So tomorrow, we'll probably fool with that, maybe. Might go hunt for a gas tank. I don't know what else we'll do. Anyway, see y'all later. Tis the next day again, and once again, I ain't got much done today, no sir. Not on videoing anyway. Been running around town half a day, and then I got my tires put on and been fooling with that, trying to get it lined up for the last hour. So I think I sort of got it. It was towed out about 1/8 inch, and that'll make it wear on the inside of your tires. Well, if it's towed in, it'll do the opposite. It'll wear on the outside of your tires. Well, I think now I got it towed in about 1/8. That's probably a little too much, but time will tell. I'll keep an eye on them, and if they go to wearing funny on the outside, well, then I know it's towed in too much. Right now, I've been fooling with my power steering brackets, trying to figure them out. I think I got them figured out, but I don't fool with that right now because sun is shining, it ain't raining. It's been raining half a day. So whilst we don't have any rain coming down, let's go gas tank hunting. Well, I just checked old Red here. He ain't got no gas tank at all. So let's go right down here to that dually, that white dually. Let's see what it's got. Well, we're down here at the white dually now, and best I can tell, that gas tank I think is okay. It's sitting up off the ground enough that I think I can just get right up under there and get it out without having to jack it up. So let me get my truck down here with my tools and my tarp to lay on, because it's pretty muddy right there. And we'll pull that tank out and look at it. Well, I just took the top off this here gas tank, and guess what? It had pressure on it. Yes, sir. That's a good sign. That means it ain't been open to the elements, so maybe it won't be rusted all to pieces. I do wish these screws were not metric, because I don't have any metric sockets or nut drivers. So yes, I'm having to get it with a crescent wrench. Anyway, let me get this loose and then we'll get the tank out and head on to the house with it. Well, as you can see, here's the tank right here, and she's dropped down on that end. But she ain't on this end because, well, you know, it's got running boards. This brace for the running board, well, it's right in the way. Yes, sir. So I got to get it out of the way. Hopefully these bolts will come loose, and then we can just drop this right out. Let me see if I can do that. That little fella ain't happy with me in the woods, I don't think. Remember the one we saw at my house? Well, he's still there too. A few days ago, I walked right up to him before he finally flew off. Pretty crazy. Anyway, the Artis, we got us a gas tank. Well, that's a diesel tank. It's got some in it. Let's get it loaded in the truck, get it home, empty it, look inside of it. Hopefully, it's okay on the inside. It's been sealed up, so hopefully it's okay. But let me tell you all this. A couple of days ago, I just acquired this truck. Sure did. It is mine. You know, I said something about maybe putting this body on Lockjaw. I don't know if I want to do that, because this body, the whole truck, you know, considering sitting in the woods, it's in pretty good shape. Yes, sir. It ain't got a whole lot of rust. It is missing a door, and it has no interior, but you know, you can buy an old junk truck and get that stuff. Whilst I was up under it getting the tank, the frame, it's been cut. I'm assuming it got wrecked on the back end. They cut it, I don't know, about right here. Welded it together. You know, it's got a diamond patch. It looks, you know, it looks like a good job. Well, let me just get under there and I'll see if I can show you. See a diamond patch right there? Yes, sir. She's been fixed, but it looks like a pretty good job, like I said. So I wouldn't be too scared of that. Which I doubt I'll load it real heavy anyway, but you know, we can always reinforce it if you want to. But yes, sir, this truck is mine. I just don't know how in the world I'm gonna get it out of here. I'll figure something out. Let's get this to the house though. Well, I got it cleaned up. I got it sitting here next to the old one. I'm just comparing, making sure everything's the same. It looks like it is, with the exception of the fill necks. Here's the one that come out of Lockjaw. It's a little bit skinnier than this one. Plus, it's just got this flange instead of the plastic piece. So I'll just swap him next. I think everything will be fine and dandly. Fixing to pull the sending unit stuff out. Look on the inside of the tank. And like I said, it's got some diesel in it, so we'll take it out there and dump it in the gravel. And check the inside out real good. I might put it in tonight. I ain't sure. I've been lazy today. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't really feel like crawling under there, but I'm already nasty and dirty from rolling around in the mud over there. So we might go ahead and put it up, or we might work on the power steering. You'll just have to wait and see, because I don't even know myself. All right, let's get this locking ring off of here real quick. Ta-da! Now, will this little fella here come free? We do not know. Oh, yeah. Well, the little sock still looks pretty good. Let me go get a flashlight and we'll look here and see, but I think it's gonna look pretty good. All right, oh yeah, it looks brand spankingly new. Yes, sir. Ain't nothing wrong with this tank at all. It does have red diesel in it. That's farm diesel. Oh yeah, let me take this outside and empty it out, and then we'll put this back together. I want to check that, see if that fuel gauge is going to work, sending unit, and then we might put it in. Well, I got all the decals out. Now I'll fix to swap the fill necks. And, well, they're a different size. Here's one I need to go on there. It's a wee bit too small. Plus this vent line hose is pretty rotten. So we'll have to wait on that. I got to find some kind of adapter to go from that size to that size. Let's take this sending unit over on the bench and let's check it out and make sure it's going to work. Well, I got the sending unit in the vise here, and at first it was going haywire. I got my Metri hooked up to it. It was going haywire. Well, I sprayed it with carb cleaner and then blew it out with air. Y'all watch this right here. Watch that meter. I'm going to work it through. This is full. That's about half empty. There's empty. So it's, you know, it ain't got no dead spots that I can find. So it's working just fine and dandy. Yes, sir. So we got us a sending unit. I think, you know, since I got to get some hoses and whatnot, adapters for that fill neck, I think let's see if we can get the brackets and the power steering pump on this truck. I don't know if I got the right hoses. We'll just see after I get it on. But let's get that on. All right, here is my power steering pump. It's a little old, and it may not be any count. I don't know. We'll find out. But my holes, they were filled up with dirt dauber stuff, and it's rusted the threads a little bit. I can't get the bolts to start, so I got to pull this pulley off so I can get to run a tap down in them holes to clean the threads up. So let's do that real quick. I sure am glad that I bought this little pulley puller. Well, it's about the only way to get these off. I probably ought to get a wrench to hold that and get the universal croissant wrench. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Ta-da! All right, now, let me find the tap. Clean these holes out real quick. My tap handle is over at Mama's. I'll be glad when I get all my tools moved over here. We ain't got to go back and forth. All right, there's the bottom. I got 3 more to do, and then I think we'll go ahead and put the pulley back. Well, we'll leave the pulley off. Yeah, let's leave it off. We'll put it on after we get it on the truck. All right, I don't know how well y'all can see, but these 2 brackets right here go in these 2 holes right here. That's where the motor mounts used to go on the Tri-5 Chevrolets. Well, dude, that's, you know, where his motor mount is. These will go there. Then the power steering pump goes here. Then we got the adjusting bracket. It'll go in this top water pump bolt. Just like it right there. That's pretty much it. So let me get these brackets on and get that piece I just dropped. And I'm not sure if the hoses will match up or not. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Where did you go, little buddy? Oh, I dropped it on the floor. I want to put these in loosely because I got to get that stud on that power steering pump in there. Oh, yeah. All right, let me get a nut on the back of that real quick like. Now let me get this bolt out of the water pump real quick. It goes on here with this little spacer stuff like it right there. It looks really long. I don't know if that's going to go in or not. Interesting. Well, I think the bolt is a wee bit too long, so I don't know what you do about that. Let's just leave that loose for now. Let me tighten up in the bottom bracket bolts real quick. That will go in that bolt right there. So let me go ahead and get it in. It's actually a stud. that goes there and that bottom hole. So let me get them in real quick. All right, everything is in place. But something ain't right, because there's no adjustment on that. I mean, that much, that's all I've got. Something is not right. Interesting. Let me do a little more studying on it, because apparently I am wrong on how it goes. Well, apparently that's how it goes. You ain't got much adjustment. That's all you got pretty much up there. Maybe a little bit more. Not loosening all the bolts. Yeah, there. You got that much room. That's it. You better be close on your belt size. That's all I tell you. Let me get this pulley on, and then we'll see about the lines. See if I can make them work out. Well, I got the pulley on there, and it lines up perfectly in between two grooves. Yes, sir, it don't line up. No, sir. Only thing I know to do is that spacer there and then the two on the bottom. Take them off, cut, I don't know, whatever that half a groove will be, probably ½ inch or so. I ain't gonna do that tonight, but let's fool with the hoses real quick and just see. Let me see if I can get them to work or not. Well, we ain't gonna have no power steering tonight, no sir. Fittings, they don't match up. The hose that comes on the power steering pump, it's an SAE flare. And the one in the steering box is the new, it takes an O-ring, and I think they're metric threads. They probably make an adapter. I'll look on O'Reilly's tonight, see if they got one. Hopefully we can get it tomorrow. Also, we need to, grind the spacers down so we can get the pulleys lined up a little bit better. Got to get a belt. I don't know if the stock belt for, a C10 or C20 will work. I'll probably just measure it, wrap a string around it, measure it. Also need some transmission fluid because I don't have none of that. Anyway, we're done for the night. Hopefully tomorrow, fingers crossed, we'll have some power steering. Well, I've been working on the gas tank filler neck, and let me show you what I come up with. I can't find any fittings online that goes from 1 3/8 to 1 3/4. So I looked in my bucket of fittings and I found this. It used to be a pool pump, whatever fitting. This used to be threaded, but I cut the threads off in the lathe, and now it fits the 1 3/4. This fits the 1 3/8. So there's my adapter for that. We'll put that on in a little bit. Oh, I got some clipper nuts. They're called U nuts or J nuts or clipper nuts. For the headlights and the tail lights, we'll put them in a little while maybe. Power steering. Nobody had the little adapter, so I had to order it from Amazon. It'll be here tomorrow. So maybe we'll finish that up tomorrow. But for now, let's get this gas tank in, and then after this, I've got to get the gas tank done in that Dodge. I got to get that back to that feller. So anyway, let's start with this right here. All right, I'm putting the fuel sending unit back in, and it's got this lock ring we had to beat off. Well, you got to put it back on. A lot of times they're really aggravating to go back in. Well, it's due to the gasket O-ring under here swelling a little bit, and this lock ring don't want to go under these tabs. Well, all you got to do, take your screwdriver, get under there, and just bend this edge. You don't want to bend the whole thing. Just bend that edge up on each one of them. I've already done it. And then that lock ring, it'll start. Then you got to take your punch, and knock it on around. But bend them edges up, and it makes it a whole lot easier. Well, I think I got my hoses and adapters all fixed up. Got me a new hose from here to the metal line. I think it's ready to put it in the truck, so let's do that. I'm really hoping I can just manhandle this. I don't have to get the jack out. We will see. This ran, I think, through this hole. No. It ran through this hole. I don't really know, but we're going to put it through this hole. No. Let's just run it over the frame. Do-da day, do-da night, do-da day, do-da night. Ooh. All right, if I can find my bolts. I'd put one in right here. What the devil? I got the wrong hole or something. Come here. Interesting. Get in the hole. Well, I got 2 bolts sort of started, but these holes here are different. Yes, sir. They sure are. Well, 2 of them line up. I guess that's better than none. Let me get these other 2 in down here. We'll tighten them up. All right, let me close my eyes while I tighten these. Fuel tank is in. I think this needs to go back here. What do y'all think? Yeah, we'll put it right there. And then my line is all rusted. It's rusted off right here, so we'll run us a new fuel line, but I believe that's 3/8, and I don't have any, so I'll have to go get some. Let's get out here and fight this field neck screw thingamabob. Oh yeah, get out of here! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Ooh, I'm getting too old for this. We're just a hair off. I got to turn it clockwise. Luckily, I can get to these hoses and hose clamp in here quite easily. So this is not going to be the pain I thought it would be, which is wonderful. There's one. Lockjaw, he's got a gas tank now. That's awesome. Got to run a fuel line, but like I said, I don't have any 3/8 steel lines, so I have to go get some of that. But right now, we got to get this here tank cleaned in that old Dodge. Let me show you how I'm going to clean it. Well, I'm cleaning the gas tank of the old Dodge right now. You might be wondering what that noise is. Well, let me show you. This is how you clean a gas tank that's really, really bad. Strap it to the tractor wheel, put a bunch of rocks in it, and let it roll. You can even put it in reverse, go back the other way for a little while. While Stitt does this thing, let's go get the old Dodge in here, because I got to put a back brake line on it. Well, I've been trying for 20 or 30 minutes to get the old Dodge to start. The only way it'll run is if I'm spraying carb cleaner down in it. Well, I decided to take the carburetor apart. Well, I don't know where this come from, but it's just full of garbage. Only place it could have come from was the fuel pump, but how did it make it past the fuel filter? I don't know. Let me dump that mess out, and I got to go through this and clean it again. Well, I just dumped the contents of the bowl out, and this is what I got. I ain't got a clue what it is. Yes, sir, it's just plumb filthy, just like I never cleaned it. Anyway, let me go through this, and we'll put it back on. Fingers crossed, it'll run. Well, as you can see, I finally got the carburetor back together and got it on the truck. She's sitting there purring like a kitten. As soon as I get this tire pumped up, we'll get it in the shop, go to working on that brake line. Well, we finally got the old Dodge in here, and let me tell you this. Whilst I had the carburetor part, I realized that one of the check balls in the acceleratory circuit was missing. It takes 2. Remember how I told you, the pump shot was just basically non-existent. Well, I found another check ball, put it in there, and oh yes, getting a great pump shot now. So got that problem solved. Where that stuff in the carburetor come from, I ain't got a clue. I took the filter off, and it had some trash on this side. A little bit come from out here, but this in here looked like foam. I ain't got a clue where it come from. But anyway, it's running pretty good now. I ain't gonna be able to work on it today. And the gas tank out there, well, it rolled and tumbled for at least an hour. And let me tell you, we have not even begun to touch the garbage that's in that tank. I don't know exactly what we're going to do to get that clean, but I got to get it out of the way. Another short day. I'm telling you, this week I have gotten very little done as far as videoing. This has been one of them weeks. Got a bazillion other things to do. Yeah, when I tell y'all that there's always something to do before you can do something, well, I ain't joking. The Adams Thresherman Show in Adams, Tennessee is this weekend. So I got to go get the golf cart out, make sure it's going to run, get it cleaned up, and get it ready to go tomorrow. I'll be up there all day tomorrow. Hopefully, maybe I'll see some of y'all, but we're done for today. Maybe next week we can get a little bit done. Well, I got the old golf cart cleaned up, and let me tell you, she looks pretty doggone good, if I must say so myself. Yes, sir. I was prepared to have a pretty good battle getting this thing running. Well, let me tell you, I mashed the gas pedal about 10 seconds, she fired right up. It's been 10 months since this thing has been started. I figured the battery would be dead, and I didn't even have to use a choke. I was just amazed. But anyway, she is ready for Adams tomorrow. I'm gonna put it in the basement tonight just in case it rains, but let me show y'all this real quick. Oh yeah. Tis Monday, start of a new week, and I really hope I get a little more done on the videoing side of things this week. Well, it's just, there's always something popping up to do. I'm not kidding you. Anyway, Thresherman Show was Friday and Saturday. Had a pretty good time. The weather was, it was dang near perfect. It wasn't too hot. Yes, sir. Big turnout. I got to meet one of my subscribers. I don't remember your real name. I'm terrible with names. I do remember JS was part of your username. Anyway, it was good to meet you. Hopefully I'll meet a bunch more y'all down the road. Friday is the first video of Lockjaw that dropped. And just like clockwork, he brought out all the naysayers. I get a kick out of those comments. People tell me I'm wasting my time and money. Pull the motor, take it to the scrapyard, crush it, run it over a cliff. No, I'm going to continue to work on Lockjaw just like I have been. Let me say this real quick, and then we'll get to working on it. To those naysayers, if you're looking for sponsored high dollar builds, you're in the wrong spot. Yes, sir. I've mentioned several times what this channel's about, what I do. I've been doing it for years. I'm not going to change. That is backyard butchery. Use what you got. That's what we're doing right here, and I will continue to do that. So if that's what you want to see, stick around. We're going to do a whole lot more of it. Anyway, I have looked at the fuel lines. I can't find, nobody has 3/8 metal fuel lines in town. I have to order it on Amazon, wait 2 days. I don't want to do that. So I looked at that fuel line. I think it's okay. It's just that end there is rusted off a little bit. I'm gonna blow carb cleaner through it and then blow it out with air, make sure it's good and clean. Replace the hose on this end. I got a new hose for that end. And we're gonna hook it up, and I think it'll be just fine. So let's get busy doing that. All right, here is the rubber line I'm gonna replace right here. It's pretty bad, as you can see. Then I'll hook that end up down there, and I need to make a run to the parts store sometime, not right now, but get a fuel filter and put it up here. Then we gotta pull that carb off. Remember, it's flooding like crazy, and I don't know where the trash come from, but it's got trash in it, so we gotta clean it out. Once I do all that, we'll fire it up, make sure it's gonna pull from that tank, and make sure this line doesn't have any pinholes. And then, I don't know, we might get back on the power steering. Well, I'm up under the truck, and here's the fuel line coming out of the gas tank. Got it hooked up to the metal line. I sprayed carb cleaner in this 3 times and blew it out with air. About the only thing that came out was old gas, and let me tell you, it stinks. Yes, sir. About to give me a headache. But anyway, I got that end hooked up too, and the fuel system, it's ready to be checked out, except for we gotta pull the carb off. But I just want to show y'all real quick, whilst I was up under here, the frame, I told you it was kind of in bad shape. Well, it's just this edge, the bottom edge, this here, the vertical part, that's your strength. This is where it's rusted, and it's just on the edge. It's not, back in here. It's just the edge. I'm not gonna worry about it, no sir. We might do a little reinforcing back here in that arch above the axle, but other than that, no sir. I ain't worried about it too much. Anyway, let me get out from under here and get that carb off. Well, I took the carburetor device off, tore it apart, and forgot to tighten a couple of screws, I see. It was flooding. I didn't see nothing wrong with the needle or seat, but I pulled, I got another, well, it's the Quadrajet we had on the 350 that we ran on the run stand. Remember, it was acting up. Well, I pulled it apart and put the seat and needle out of it, put it in here because it was brand new. I had rebuilt it. Hopefully that'll cure that overflow problem, flooding all over the place. Got me a vacuum port for the brake booster now. I reckon let's put this thing back on this old truck here and fire it up. Well, I got to put some gas in it, fire it up. Let's see if it's going to pull from my tank, make sure I ain't got no leaks nowhere. Oh, yeah. Well, I got the carburetor device back on. Everything hooked up. I'm going to put some gasoline in the tank. We're going to put the battery in it. And we're going to fire it up, see if it'll pull from this tank. Hopefully, fingers crossed. All right, let's give the carburetor a little drink of gasoline. A little bit growing. Fire in the hole! I think I need to idle them up a little bit. Well, she ran for about 10 minutes or so. So I think it's safe to say that we're running off the tank. Everything's good there. I just looked under the truck. I don't see any leaks anywhere, so that's awesome. But she got to running rough. See all that fuel right there? I don't know if there's any over here. Yes, sir. It was dripping out of the boosters. So I have fixed nothing on that carburetor. I don't know what's going on with it. Brand new needle and seat. Shouldn't be doing that. I did not check the float level, but I mean, that's something they just don't get off. But I will check it. I'm gonna pull the top back off and we'll check that. But I think for now that we know we got a fuel system, let's get back on the power steering. I'm gonna pull it off and I'm gonna take these spacers to the lathe. We're gonna cut them down. But firstly, I gotta get me a measurement. So I'm gonna put me a straight edge across the front of that crank pulley. Measure from it to here, see what the difference is, and then that's what I got to cut off. All right, I got my square here. I'm gonna put it across the face of that crank pulley. Then I got to get my calipers in here some kind of way. Get me a measurement approximately right there. All right, what do we have? We have 360 thousandths. Let me do that a couple more times. If I come up with a measurement that close, that's what we shall go with. 355 that time. That's within 5 thousandths. That's pretty doggone good. One more time. Let's see what we get. Third time I got 355. I do believe that's the measurement we will go with. So I'm going to put a piece of rope around these pulleys, get me a measurement. Then we'll pull this bracket off, get these spacers out, go to the lathe and cut them down. Well, as you can see, I got the power steering pump out. There she sits right yonder. Did my belt measurement with a rope and I got 32 inches. Well, I looked it up on O'Reilly's and they're calling for like a 44 inch and a 55 inch and a 57. I don't know. I'll just get a 32 inch belt. Hopefully that'll fit. It'll, get us in the ballpark and we can go from there. Anyway, I did some more measuring. And I come up with, I got to cut off 300 thousandths off of all three of those spacers. So let me head to Mama's, put them in the lathe, we'll cut them down. Then I'll go to O'Reilly's maybe, get a belt, and I need some more fuel filters and power steering fluid. I don't know, we'll get a bunch of stuff. Anyway, let me go cut these down. Well, I got all my spacers cut down 300 thousandths of 1 inch. I brought me an assortment of belts from Mama's over there. I forgot about them. I bet one of them will fit. If it does, then we won't have to go to O'Reilly's tonight because I forgot that I got a jug of transmission fluid in the seat of that truck over yonder. So, let me get this put back together, see if I got a belt, put some fluids in it, and I got my adapters for the lines here. Let me get all that done. I'll be back and hopefully we'll have power steering. Well, fellers, I have doomised. Yes, sir. Cutting these spacers down accomplished absolutely nothing. No, sir. Those spacers are not spacing the pump this way or that way. Those are for the width of this pump. As you can see, I got these two brackets bolted down. Well, there's the stuff that I took off. So I've accomplished nothing. I tried putting it on without this bracket, and to move this pump back the 300 thousandths that I need to get it lined up, well, it hits the block. So it's going to have to be spaced out to hit that front pulley. This is probably supposed to be a double pulley. I don't know, but we got what we got. I'm trying to make it work. So what I got to do is undoomis what I did here with washers, and then find another 300 thousandths worth of washers to space it out. And that way we'll use this front pulley, and we'll have the power steering. I got my bucket of bolts. Well, it's 2 buckets and a bag, really. I'm sure I can find enough washers in here for spacers. So let me dig through this. Then maybe we'll undoomis this and have power steering. Well, my bucket of bolts, washers, nuts, all that kind of stuff. Well, it came through, yes, sir. I got enough spacers here, I believe, to make this work. So let me get them over here. I might not need them. I'm thinking, I just test fitted a little while ago. And I think instead of using that water pump bolt, I think we might be able to use that piece right there. And that'll take away having to use a spacer at all. I'm gonna try it like that. Let's just see what happens. Well, this power steering, it's whooped me. Yes, sir. I thought I had her figured out, but I don't. No, sir. I don't know about these brackets. I don't know about this pump. I don't know about this pulley. It may just be a big mismatched conglomerate of junk. I ain't got a clue. You know, I was trying to space it out because I can't space it in far enough because it hits the block. Well, I had to end up using 5 washers back here instead of 3, and it still ain't quite enough, and I've run out of threads on bolts. I got like 1 thread, maybe a thread and a half, holding it on right now, and it's still not quite lined up. No, sir. And just for giggles, I thought I'd try to find me a belt that would go around this. Well, that ain't gonna work. No, sir. You can't put a belt on all of these, the alternator, water pump, crank, and power steering, because it just barely touches the water pump right here on the side. It won't be enough to turn it. No, sir. That's gonna have to become, moved back here to this second groove. How you do that, I don't know. Ain't got a clue. I'm gonna study on power steering tonight, because obviously I ain't got a clue what I'm doing there. What I'm gonna do right now is, I've been wanting this trim on here for a long time. I got my clip of nuts. Let's put it on. All right, here's my clip of nuts. Let's see if it's gonna fit right here or not. Knowing the way things been going, it won't. Well, that looks pretty good. So maybe I hit a home run right here. I got 2 more here and 4 over there. Let me get them in, get the trim on. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Well, it makes it look a little bit better anyway. Well, that's really relatively speaking on this old rust bucket here. I don't know if that red and white one had this piece of trim across the top or not. I'll have to go back over and see. If it does, we'll steal it. But yeah, that makes it look a little bit better now. I'm fixing to go in the house. I'm very frustrated. I ain't got much of nothing done today, and this power steering, yeah, it's aggravating me. So I'm gonna study on it, see what I can figure out. Maybe I got to have some different brackets. Maybe I have to have a different pump. I don't know. I'm gonna study on it, and I don't know, we'll do something to it tomorrow. Well, I lied. I didn't go in the house. No, sir. I got to think about this mystery wire, and a couple of y'all said that it might go to the dome light. Well, it doesn't have a dome light, but I figured it had a courtesy light. Well, I got down here in the floor, and I found it. I unscrewed it, and it's got a white wire, and that other wire is similar to the color of this mystery wire. Well, I pulled the headlight switch out and brought it over here on the table and fooled with it on the meter and checking different things, and got scratching my head, so I decided to go in the house and look at the print one more time. That headlight switch print is a little confusing. There's a couple of wires that look like it's 2 hots coming together. That just don't seem right. Anyway, I finally figured out where that wire goes. Looking at the print, it splices it goes to the orange. Yes, sir, it is an orange wire. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the orange wire is hot from the fuse panel. One goes to this switch, and then one goes to that light right over yonder. The wire that's going to the switch, I believe that feeds parking lights and everything but the headlights. And then, you know, it splits, hot goes over here, and this white wire from here goes to the white wire here. You turn this on just like this right here, and you got a courtesy light, because this switch grounds that white wire. If it had a dome light, well, they would also run to a switch here in the door. That door switch would ground it. That would be the white wire that's grounding. So whoever told me that the mystery wire was for the dome light, you're exactly right. Yes, sir. Anyway, I am very glad to figure out what that dad blame wire was. It was feeding power to that light right there. Now I'm going in the house. Oh, wait a minute. Let me tell you about this. Whilst I was down here on the floor working on this, well, a spider, it come flying by my head and stopped right over yonder. I looked at it and I thought, I took a picture of it, zoomed in like I'm gonna do right here now. Yes, sir, it was a brown recluse. You can see that fiddle on its back. It's no longer with us. Anyway, I'm going to the house. I don't know, we'll do something to this old hunk of junk tomorrow. Well, I went to the woods a while ago, just scrounging, and old Red, he had this piece of trim right here, so I stole it, fixing to put it on, and then I got a flasher. We're gonna put it in. I don't think that's gonna fix the blinkers, but it might, you never know. Anyway, let me get this put on first. No screw in. No, there sure is. I was just screwing away. There wasn't a screw in there. No, sir. All right. Well, I think it looks mucho bettero. Yes, sir. Glad I went and got that. Tell you what, let's put the flasher in. Pretty sure it ain't gonna work. I got to try it though, because we got to have blinkers on this truck. Well, I just spent another couple hours trying to figure out why in the world these stupid blinkers won't work. Well, y'all ain't gonna believe me unless I show you. Oh yeah, we got some blinkers now. And it was so simple. Let me tell you, let me turn these off real quick. I was getting 12 volts up here where I was supposed to on the, you know, the blinker circuit. But when I would put a load on it, I would lose that voltage. I was like, well, what in the world's wrong with this? Got down here at the fuse box with my Metri, probing the backup and turn signal fuse. And I had the key on and the blinker on. Well, I pushed that fuse and I heard that flasher down there start blinking. The fuse, it was a bad connection down there on that fuse and the fuse block. Took that out, cleaned it up, and yes, sir, we have blinkers now. But wait, there is more. Let me turn this on, put her in reverse. Look at there. Oh yeah, we got some reverse lights, we got some blinkers, we got it all. Yes, sir, this is awesome. It only took about 40 man hours to figure this out, but I finally got it. Let me put all the steering wheel and all this back together and I'll be back. Well, I've been a busy little beaver the last few hours. Yes, sir. I tell you what, I've gotten more done in the last 4 hours than I have in the last week. Yes, sir. I believe this truck is kin to that dang old Dodge. It's been aggravating the last week. Anyways, you can see I got the steering wheel back on. That took about an hour. I had to take it apart twice because I kept forgetting stuff. Anyway, I wonder if the horn works. Oh yeah. Also, remember how our fuel gauge was pegging out all the way to full? Well, let me turn the key on. Oh yeah, it stays now because it works. It was about 6 feet of the wire missing, so I replaced that. Now it works. Well, you know, y'all that have seen the 5 or 6 video series on this truck in the woods when I was getting it running, you remember how I was having trouble getting ignition? My voltage was dropping on my ignition wire. Well, that's the wire I was using. Just now figured that out. Anyway, got the dash back in. It don't look too bad. When I was under there fixing the fuel gauge wire, the transmission pan's been leaking. Well, tighten the bolts up. It's that danged old cork gasket. It probably ain't gonna fix it. I'm gonna have to get a good rubber gasket for it. Pulled the carburetor off and went through it. There was no trash, but the fuel, the float level was high, pretty high actually. So I set that. Hopefully we got the flooding issue fixed. I got my one taillight lens on that I had, and I put all this back together. I got my one taillight lens back on. Of course, I don't have one over here. Got to find one there. What else have I done? I reckon that's probably about it. Pumped the tires up because a couple of them were going flat. I tell you what, let's fire it up and make sure it's not going to flood anymore. We'll set it. Let it sit here and run for a minute. Fire in the hole. Well, she's still flooding. Yep, I swear. I give up. Well, it's worse than it was. Yes, sir. It's shooting out of here now. I'm gonna take it off one more time, and if this don't fix it, that carburetor, I'm serious. I'm gonna throw it away. Well, I got it apart, and there's nothing wrong. I can hold it down right here, you know, like it would be if the top was on it. Blow in this right here, nothing passes, no air, nothing. So I don't know how it's doing what it's doing. I ain't got a clue. I'm gonna put it together one more time. If it does it again, well, y'all might see a hammer show. I may bust this into a million pieces. Well, I got the carburetor back on for the 784th time. Let's see if it's gonna act right this time. Fire in the hole once more. Flooding, but I'm gonna let it sit here and run, warm up. I want to see if that temperature gauge is gonna work or not, so I'll be back in a little bit. I ain't real sure, but I believe that temperature gauge may be working. I don't know what's wrong with that carburetor. It's a piece of junk, I do believe. That's what it was doing when it was on Dude. I took it down the road. You know, Dude was sitting here, put it on Dude to get him in the garage. Well, I drove it down the road to Mama's, and that's what it did. At steady state, it'd go to cutting out and carrying on. Well, you step on in it a little further, and it's going to take off. There's something wrong with it. I don't know what it is. I've cleaned it from all I can. Anyway, it'll have to do for now, and hopefully I won't be stealing carburetors and distributors and all that off this truck anymore. And matter of fact, I got the hood laying there. Well, let me just show you this real quick. It separates. Oh yeah, it sure does. Look at there. I'm gonna put me some self-tappers down through here to hold it together. Put it on here. That way I ain't got to tarp this. I'll just put some over the carburetor, and then the hood will be sitting here. Anyway, power steering. I forgot to tell you all about that. I did a little studying on it last night. The only thing I can come up with is, you know, Chevrolet's got long and short water pumps. I believe in 69 on cars, they went to the long water pump. In trucks, I believe 73, they went to the long water pump. Most likely this pulley on this power steering pump belongs on a short water pump. I've got to figure out what pulley to get so I can use this middle groove. I did find this out too, I didn't know this. On long water pumps, alternators, they're over here, and they use the front groove like we're doing here. Short water pumps like on Dude, the alternator's over here, remember? That's how it's supposed to be, and I guarantee you that's what that pulley is meant to be with, a short water pump. So I'll have to study a little more. We're gonna have power steering on this truck eventually, I promise you. But I'll tell y'all what, this probably will not be one of my better videos. It's last 2 or 3 weeks has just been crazy around here. I ain't had a whole lot of time to work on the channel stuff, and I don't like that. I got to fix that. I just got so much stuff to do, it's piling up. Well, I'll just walk you through what I got to do. We got to get that gas tank in that truck. Got to get it clean somehow. Got to get that rear brake line on. get that truck back to them. I got to do that. That's first. The golf cart Saturday, well, it decided it didn't want to reverse anymore. I got to figure out what's going on with that. This little white van, that belongs to the older feller that Lockjaw came from. The station wagon, that danged old Dodge. Air conditioner quit, so I got to figure out what's going on with it. Then he's got a square body that needs valve seals. He wants me to put them on. Pool pump come in. I got to put that, hook that up. I got to mow my yard. I got to mow Mama's yard, and it's some other stuff. It's just, well, it never ends. I've got to get caught up so I can focus a little more on the channel, on the videos. I was planning on doing a third video of this old heap of rust. I was going to start working on the floor and the cab, the rocker panels and all that. Well, matter of fact, I got some of the panels here. I don't have all of them. I don't know what's going on at LMC, but I've been waiting on, well, a little over a week for one of the panels. And I'm not going to start it until I get all of them. I'm not going to do it. So we're going to put Lockjaw out to pasture here in the back 40. We'll come back to him, trust me. The next project I'm working on, I'm pretty excited about it. I think y'all like it, so be looking for that. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe. Share it with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blur, blur.